Are you new to crabbing or want to go crabbing on the Oregon coast? Then you've come to the right place. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another crabbing video here on Herman's Outdoors. Today, let's talk about beginner crabbing tips for crabbing the Oregon coast. My family has been crabbing along the Oregon coast dating back to the 1970s, and my first experience was riding in my grandfather's boat out crabbing in Tillamook Bay when I was 7 years old. We caught a bunch of keeper crab on that overcast summer day, and all I remember was my excitement every time my dad started to pull up the crab pot, hoping to get a keeper or two. Crabbing is a great outdoor activity for all ages, and a great activity to get kids into the outdoors, catch their own food, and enjoy spending time on the Oregon coast. So if you have never gone crabbing or are relatively new to crabbing, today's list is all about the crabbing tips for beginners to help you become successful out crabbing and reap the benefits of catching your own crabs. Number 5. Crabbing from the dock. When crabbing the Oregon coast, there are two ways to go after crabs. Get out on a boat and drop crab pots, or go crabbing off a dock. If you are new to crabbing, I recommend crabbing from the docks at places like Barview Jetty or Kelly's Bright Marina on the Oregon coast. First, dock crabbing is a great way to get kids involved in crabbing. It's much easier for kids to pull up crab pots or rings from a dock. From a boat, it's much harder for kids to pull up crab pots from greater distances. Second, if you don't have a boat, you can always dock crab and rent gear so you don't break the bank. If you don't have space to store crab pots, it's easier to find a rental place on the dock and rent gear. Third, from personal experience, people who crab on the dock are super friendly, always have funny stories, and are willing to share tips like how to throw a crab ring. I always share tips and information with anyone crabbing on the docks if it's your first time. Don't be shy and ask how to do something. Pay it forward, pass it along. So if you are new to crabbing, start from the dock. Number 4. A good pair of gloves. Whether you're pulling up crab pots or sorting through crabs, a good pair of gloves is a must to protect your hands. When I crabbed with my grandfather, I had first-hand episodes where he would pull the crab pot up, start to sort the crabs, and he would always just pick them up bare hands and dive right in. Now, he was tough as nails, but he always seemed to get a finger pinched or cut by a crab claw. In one particular summer trip when I was about 10 years old, he had 4 band-aids on 4 fingers after 2 crab pots from cuts trying to pick up crab and toss back the non-keepers. And I'm not talking about small cuts. It's probably the reason why I'm so skittish picking up crab still to this day. And nothing hurts more than getting pinched by a crab claw and getting cuts on your hand. Trust me, don't ask me how I know. Plus, waterproof gloves with rubber helps when pulling up crab pots and reduces the chance of the wet rope slipping through your hands. I never go crabbing without a good pair of rubberized waterproof gloves. They keep my hands protected from picking up the crabs, it's easier to pull the rope, and on cold days, keeps my hands warm. And nobody likes the one friend who is cold and being crabby when crabbing. Number 3. Crab in the months of September through December. Crabbing is best in the months ending with an R, September through December. The colder weather brings on better days for crabbing. My typical rule of thumb for crabbing is start after Labor Day. The crowds along the Oregon coast get smaller after Labor Day weekend, and access to crabbing becomes much easier, whether from the dock, renting a boat, or launching a boat from a boat launch. Plus, the average number of crab harvested goes up once you get into September. That's not to say you can't catch crab any other month of the year, because you can catch crab on the Oregon coast 12 months out of the year. But the number of crabs and successfully harvesting keeper-sized crabs increases significantly in the later months of the year. So if you're planning a beach weekend getaway, traveling through Oregon, or vacationing along the Oregon coast for a week, mark your calendars for September through December, get out there and do some epic Oregon coast crabbing. Number 2. Use chicken as bait. One of the tips I learned crabbing with my grandfather and dad years ago was to use chicken drumsticks as crabbing bait. When most people go to a crabbing rental gear place, they think a fish carcass is the best bait to catch crab because that's what the rental place provides. But to consistently catch more crab, use chicken. If you look at a chicken drumstick versus a fish carcass, the chicken has way more meat on the bone than a filleted up fish carcass, which doesn't have very much meat. It's like, would you rather have a small beef slider or a 1-pound cheeseburger with bacon for dinner? Burger with bacon all day, baby. And if you plan to crab for half or a full day, you will need a bunch of bait. because crab can devour meat off any bones quickly. The chicken lasts longer as crab bait. Crabs love chicken, and it's inexpensive to pick up some marked down chicken from your local grocery store when it's on sale. If your bait isn't meaty, the crabs will move on and look for other sources of food. So add some chicken as bait to your crabbing gear so the crabs know to come to the meeting place. And number 1. Let the crab rings soak for no more than 20 minutes. Crab pots and crab rings are the two most common traps for catching Dungeness crab on the Oregon coast. They're easier being the crab ring to use for beginners. Unlike pots, rings allow the crabs to free flow and access the bait easily, and you secure the crabs in the ring when pulling up quickly, whereas crab pots allows the crabs to enter but not escape, so you can leave them for hours to fill up with crab. But when using crab rings, you need to consistently check them often. Too many times when I'm out crabbing off the dock, I see people throw out their crab rings and leave them for an hour or even longer, only to return to maybe 1 to 2 crabs that are too small and have to be thrown back. In as little as 20 minutes, crabs can find your bait within the crab ring, strip it clean, and move on to some more food. So it's better to check the rings more frequently, add more bait, and get it back in the water. And if you're introducing kids to crabbing, pulling up the crab rings more often keeps kids entertained and gives them more opportunity to pull up the crab ring. And you never know, you might get addicted to crabbing like I have. And that's my top 5 Oregon Coast crabbing tips for beginners. If you've never gone crabbing or new to crabbing, incorporate some of these tips when you get out there on the Oregon coast. And leave a comment below if any of these tips have helped you catch some Dungeness crab. And don't be in a crabby mood when you go. That will definitely not help you catch more Oregon Dungeness crabs. And again, don't ask me how I know. Thank you guys for watching, everybody. And as always, the outdoors is a gift. Share it with others.